Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Eventful Life. And I'm excited to be here with Kristin of Moniques Dance Studio.
Hi.
So she has welcomed me into her space so that we can talk a little bit today and she can share a little bit about her story. Her dance studio is phenomenal. So I'm going to introduce her and let her just share a little bit about, Kristin, how did you even get started with this? Like, I like to dance, but I have a feeling that this is a different level of dancing that goes on in here.
So I've been dancing since I was 8, and when we moved to Fort Wayne, I was dancing with Fort Wayne Ballet.
Okay.
And then I started working at a dance studio for 8 years. And then I needed a change. I was in college, and I needed to either quit or do my own thing.
Right.
And my mom suggested that I open a dance studio. So
nice. So the idea came from your mom.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't think I could do it, but I was like, all right, moms know best, let's try it.
Right.
I had nothing to lose. I was in college.
Yeah.
Living at home still. I was young. So.
Wow. So that's pretty awesome that you were in college.
Yes.
And, still able to be with, be in the home with mom. And she's like, go for it.
Yes.
Like, it's cool,
Yes.
no worries, like,
Yes.
and was very supportive. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Where did you even figure out the concept to how to do this?
Well, so I went through the YMCA. So they had a space there. I contacted them.
Okay.
And I was able to rent out space from them and kind of set up an agreement to start through there. So I wasn't necessarily fully on my own yet, which was nice.
It was smart, exactly.
Kind of work your way in.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for 2 years and then decided to get my own facility and go 100% on my own.
Wow.
Paying your own overhead now and your own bills, and
Which that's
it was
scary.
a lot. It was scary.
Were you scared? I would have been mortified.
I was scared. I was, but I wasn't. I was kind of fearless then.
Yeah.
Now that I know more and I'm more knowledgeable, if I were to do it again, I'd be much more terrified. But I learned a lot from the studio that I worked prior. So I was there for 8 years, and I had a significant role there.
Right.
So I kind of felt like I was directing.
In charge.
Yeah. So then when I went out on my own, it wasn't such a shock other than all the other responsibility financially that I had to take on. So that was a lot.
Wow. Wow. Yes, that's great. And I love what you said about had I known now what I did then, I probably would have freaked out. It's interesting, what's the saying, you don't know what you don't know. Or, but I'm it's true. It's like when you don't know stuff, then it almost doesn't have the ability to stifle you, because you're like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna do this.
Here I go.
Figure it out. Right.
Here we go. Yeah.
So I love that. So so walk us through. So you got your first studio.
Yes.
And so then what happened next? How did you make sure people knew you were here?
Well, so I was at the Y, so a lot of people followed me.
You there?
Yeah.
Okay.
They followed me over there, and then I was able to expand because we had more rooms. I went from 1 room to 4.
Wow.
Or 3 initially, then we built on.
Okay.
So that was nice. I was able to expand the program, expand the fitness aspect.
Okay.
I was teaching ages, still am, 3 through adult. So that's nice.
So you do all even adults, not just kids.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And we have adults that compete, kids that compete, kids and adults that just come recreationally, and then people, women and men that do the fitness side.
Okay.
So that's nice. So from the studio that I was prior, they knew I was leaving.
Okay.
And so you broke ties, appropriately, professionally. And then she actually ended up selling her studio to me 3 months after I started.
Wow.
So that was nice.
That was
a nice little benefit.
Had that relationship. Yeah.
And then I went out on my own and was able to get the second facility and
so
kind of went that way.
2. So this is just one of the 2 studios that she has. So that's talk about growth, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so the people who come, the kids, the adults, what do you think, if you had to say, was the number one thing that keeps them coming back? What do you think that is?
I think it's the confidence that we pull out of them. Myself and my instructors, I'm huge on confidence. I think confidence, you suit yourself with confidence, you're good to go. There's been plenty of times over the last 13 years of me having the studio, I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
But boy, I pretended like I did. chin up, let's go.
Right.
And I was faking it till I made it, but I was confident. So if I believed in myself or pretended to at least, other people would trust me and follow me. Yeah, and I think that's the number one thing with the kids that come. Parents love to see their kids grow in confidence.
Yeah.
Like I'll teach them how to dance, point their feet, get the rhythm, the whole thing. But when their kid walks out and they're equipped to go out into the world, stronger, more aware and just more positive and have a better outlook about themselves. I feel like I've done my job, and the parents love that.
Yeah.
And then when the people come in, even the adults.
I was just going to say, I mean, that can apply to adults.
Absolutely.
Because think about even us as adults, and particularly, I mean, I hope this resonates with my moms, out there. I feel like sometimes, even as we grow in life, in mommyhood, we lose a little bit of something sometimes. Like, maybe it's because we're trying to figure out like who we still are, especially after we've had
children,
a whole human being.
Right.
But I feel like that level of confidence, sometimes
it wavers.
Wavers a little bit. Do you see that sometimes?
It did. I feel like after I had my first child that my confidence soared. I didn't care. There was when I first started the studio, I was nervous at first to talk about, someone owes me money. I was hesitant to bring it up. And that got better with time. And then once I had my child, it was a game changer. He was a game changer for me. And I felt like I was fearless. Yeah. Really fearless then. And I felt like I could, this was my way. If you don't like it,
you think it's because you knew you had another little person like?
I think so. Like it was like it's okay. Yeah. Before I did it because it's passion and love. Yeah. Now I have someone to feed. Now it's a whole different thing. Oh, so these are my set of rules. Yeah. This is how I run this place. If you don't like it, sorry.
So,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think having a child, and it was a balance. Yeah. Because I did the studio for so many years before I had him. Right. And then it was like, your job, your business is your baby. Then you have a baby.
Say that all the time, right?
And you got to find the balance.
You got two, right?
And so I felt my business suffered a little bit until I could figure out how to manipulate the two
make
equally.
Them work together.
Yes.
Right.
And so now I'm at a really good place with it.
That's good.
But it took a little bit.
Right. So talk a little bit about how, let's talk a little bit about how you got to that place where you felt like, okay, I'm in a rhythm now where both are, quote unquote, equally yoked. Like, what did you have to go through, or what did you figure out in order to get to that place, do you feel like?
Well, all my attention went to my child. Yeah. Not that I was 100% neglecting the business, but I was here. I wasn't 100% mentally here, like which I was at home. So it was time for me. I don't think there was one big thing that clicked. It just, I think it was like a year and a half or 2 years. Right. I'm ready to dive in and, let's amp this up, change this and twerk this and, tweak this and all that kind of thing. Twerk and tweak. We can twerk and tweak. So
I love that.
It just took time, I guess.
And I feel like, when you enter into, and you can tell me if you experience this too, but when you enter into a different place in mommyhood with your kids, then that also can kind of help to prioritize or shift things for you and prioritize things. Like I can remember with my two, when they were babies, I actually felt like things were easier for me to juggle with the business. Like I was like, oh no, no problem. Like stick a bottle in here, pack your diapers in here, snatch you up, put you in the little
roll out
carrier, and let's roll. Yeah. But then once they started walking and talking, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Right. There's a whole other thing going on right now, because now I gotta take you to stuff, and you got an opinion on things, and you running, and I gotta catch you, and so it shifted me in business because they shifted. Right. Did you feel like any of that?
I think it was harder for me when they were younger. Okay. I have three. Because I felt guilty at first, especially with my first, because it was like I'm leaving to go to work and I have a child at home. And we're very fortunate that my husband stays with the kids when I'm at the studio. Nice. So we don't have to do sitters, which is good, but I still had like a little bit of guilt of leaving. Sure. So as they got older, it was better for me. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah. No, I think that's great, because and that's a wonderful example, because we all experience it very differently. Yeah. So I love that. So, we actually segue right into what we wanted to talk about, was just how having kids can kind of shift the business for you. Yes. So now let's fast forward to now. How old are your kids now?
I have twins that are 3 and a 5-year-old, all boys.
Okay, all boys. Did y'all hear that? All
wild.
boys.
We're wild in our house.
I just want to say that's called energy on 1,000. So now, how do you feel like? Where do you feel like things are now with you having 2 studios? You know, the boys, 3, 5. Like, how do you feel like
we're in a good rhythm?
Level is now.
We're in a good rhythm. Again, my husband will stay. You know, he hangs out with them when I'm here, and then I'm with them during the day and into the night. So we have a good rhythm with that.
Okay.
I'm able to get stuff done.
Right.
You know, they go to school half day.
Okay.
You know, he's not in kindergarten yet, so
we're
half days. So that's nice.
3-year-olds.
The 3 and the 5-year-old.
And the 5-year-old.
He's a young 5, so we're waiting for kindergarten. But you know, when they're in half day school, I can get some stuff done, and I get up early, to get a lot of things done before they wake up. You know, because they hit the ground running.
Oh yeah, no. Once they're up, they're alive. They're alive at 5.
So I have to prioritize even better. You know, the older they get, I have to stay on top of my schedule.
Right.
And my time management.
So I was just about to say time management, right?
Yes,
like it's
huge.
Like you got to get really good at organizing your day.
And I like it. I like to have a very structured. This is what happens at this time. I knock it out. You know, because any leeway, any downtime for me is not good. I just don't like it.
Right.
I like to stay busy.
You're on borrowed time. It's like you know that at some point that's it.
Right. Right.
Like that's it for today.
Right.
So that's good.
It's funny.
That's good. What about here in the studio? Like, do you have people who help you here?
Yes. So I have a office manager / assistant.
Okay.
She's fantastic. She does.
She's lovely.
A lot. You know, so I'm able to stay home quite often while she's here, and then she's out doing things, and then I come in, but I'm able to work at home until I actually have to physically be here teaching
for the classes. Okay.
She also does stuff for the family. I'm like, can you run to the store and pick up? You know,
that
so she
is amazing. Can we clone her?
Right. She's amazing.
That's awesome.
And then we have staff. We have full-time staff. So we have the night crew that comes in for the front desk. We have the different instructors that come in that help with the different programs that we offer. You know, so it's just not me by myself, which it was back when I started. So that was nice. You know, and that's a big thing too, having to trust. You know, that was one thing I had to learn. It's like when you start the business, to grow the business, you have to trust others. Right. That was hard.
That is hard. That is
still hard.
Yeah.
You know, but
it's a continual learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 13 years in, but I feel like I'm maybe on year 5.
Right.
Like there's just always every year I'm like, oh, why didn't I do that 6 years ago? Why did I do that 3 years ago?
As soon as you get something down, you're like, oh, what about this?
So.
But that's good, and I'm glad you said, you know, you're always learning, you know, because I think sometimes we think, oh, well, once I get to year 10,
I'm good.
I'm good, right? I don't have anything else to learn, you know, like you put on your cap and go home. It's like, no, you're still going to be learning stuff.
Still going.
So that's good. That's awesome. And 13 years, I mean, guys, 13 years in business and since college, like, kudos to you, girl, because, I mean, that is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
What do you feel like, if you had to name one thing that you think has helped you to be like sustainable over those 13 years, what would you say that one thing is?
For me, I think it's ambition. I'm just ambitious, and I want more. I'm content where I am, but I always want just a little more. Like I feel like I said, I feel like I'm just starting, or I'm just a few years in. I don't feel like I'm 13 years in.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to me. We have a big showcase at the end of the year, and so we always have a really nice graphic cover for the showcase. And I look, they're all on the wall. And there's 12 of them because we're in year 13, and it just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean,
that we're here.
I think you've got how far you've come, right?
And so I want more. I want better. I want to do it better. I can do this stronger. I can, you know. So
I love your energy. Her energy,
Thank
y'all,
you.
is on 1,000, which is why you can tell she has boys. Because
right.
There's no way she can have that type of energy,
right?
Like all the time, right? So I love it. And it also speaks to your level of confidence too, which, going back to what you said earlier, I think to be in business, especially for a long period of time, you have to have a certain level of confidence about your own capabilities, about knowing that you can get the job done.
Right. Like no one's gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. So the family, do they love it? Do they embrace it?
They embrace it.
You have the fact that
they don't really
has a studio.
Yeah, the boys will come in here and run around, but they don't really come to any of the events, which is great. I'm glad I have boys because I'm ready for soccer and basketball and all that. You know,
it gives you separate buckets.
But they're dancing home and
nice. I love it. I'm gonna have to come to
a Zumba class.
A Zumba class, yes, because I have heard all about them and I'm ready. I'm like, okay, I'm getting. A matter of fact, with the new year and everything, I'm like, okay, it's time to, you know how we do. It's time. It's time, right? Time to get it going, make sure we hit those goals and stuff. Do you have anything coming up for the new year that you guys are doing in the studio?
We're getting ready to enter our competition season.
Okay.
Yep, so we hit that in February.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about what competition season is.
So we have our competitive company, and they audition, and then they are placed in different groups, and they do multiple styles of dance.
Oh, nice.
Different costumes, and they travel around the nation and they compete.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge. They're here like 4 or 5 times a night.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
4 or 5 hours a night.
Is this a group that you guys have selected, like the best of the best, or how?
Well, anyone can be part of the company.
Okay.
Because we place them according to their ability. So it's not like you have to have so much experience or whatever. You come in, and we call them placements.
Okay.
So we'll place you in a group, and then you're able to perform and compete. Kids do solos. Kids are in groups. Wow. Kids are in big productions.
Yeah.
Our adults compete.
Oh,
that's so fun.
Okay.
Super fun for them.
Don't say anything if you see me in a competition next year. Okay.
Right. So it's great. It's great.
Awesome.
So we're getting ready to enter that stage.
Okay. So that's going to be a busy time for you guys.
Very busy.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I think to, kind of wrap things up, I know some of our moms out there, they're probably, like, okay, well, tell me if I'm trying to get started, what should I do? If I'm already started, but I'm not seeing the results, what should I do? What's one piece of advice that you would leave with us that you feel has had the greatest impact, on how you've been able to be successful?
I think seeking advice. When I first started, I wanted to do all myself and take all the credit. Yeah. And then as I got older and more wiser, network. Yeah. Talk to people, read, educate yourself on business. See what your competition, who your competition is, see how you're keeping up, don't settle in what you're doing.
Right.
There's always better ways to do things. As the world changes, you have to adapt.
Yeah, that's so true.
So just stay on top of technology, stay on top of how to reach your customers. Yeah. Make sure that you're keeping up on your training. Like I have to take training every year to make sure I'm on top of what I'm teaching my students.
Okay.
Just staying on top, being aware. Yeah. Not being complacent. Don't be complacent.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Don't be complacent because, sometimes when we find ourselves in a season of doing well, then we're like, I'm good, right? And that season can change, very, very quickly if you don't keep things up and keep moving forward. So I love that. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. I hope that you guys picked up some great nuggets today because Kristin shared a lot. And definitely let me make sure that you share with them where can they find you. So if you want to check out her dance studio, what classes are held, things like that, let's share where they can find you.
You can find us at kmoniques.com.
kmoniques.com. And is that on social media as well?
That is the website, and then we have Facebook.
Okay.
Moniques Studio of Dance, and Instagram.
Okay.
Moniques Studio of Dance.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, there you have it, folks. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. And remember, you can have it all, but on your terms and on your time. See you in the next episode of The Eventful Life. Thanks, guys.